it doesn't um, uh, it doesn't going to function well, or you're not going to see the usefulness of that application. So data is very important part of it, and capturing it right is also very important. So you need to know exactly what you are looking for and how you are going to use that data to achieve your purpose. So you don't collect any data for collecting sake, but you know that this data is relevant for you to be able to use. I think going forward, we're going to explore a lot of application, how practical sense, how you're going to, let's say, capture this data, how you're going to put in the database, how you're going to different databases that are there. But I think maybe for the purpose of the series, we're going to use maybe Postgres, where you can put the data in, visualize the data from there, maybe pull it in QGIS or ArcGIS, and then how do we take this application, share with other people using other tools like GeoServer and other things to serve it onto other applications without necessarily copying the data from your machine to another machine. So basically, that is what we have for now. We will receive any questions on today's data sets, which basically looking at vector and raster data and the sources of data, that sources where we can get some of this data to use in our application. Thank you.
Yeah, hello, Cecilia. Right, thank you, John, and for that insightful presentation. I think at this point, we will take questions. We'll take questions. If there are any questions, clarification. I was expecting a lot of questions in the chat box, but I have not seen any. So we'll take questions. Please unmute. If you have any question, just unmute and then you can speak. And we have we have our facilitator for today, John, on the call as well as myself to attempt answering the questions that you ask. Over to you. Over to all the audience or the participants. If there are any questions on the data sources and then the types of data. You can also put your questions, your contributions in the chat box, so we can pick it up and then attempt answering them. There are no questions? Please, can I be heard? Yes, Ambrose, can I be heard?
Yes, we can hear you.
Martinson, all right. Good, good. I thought I was speaking to myself. Right. All right, so if we don't have questions, we can wrap up quickly. There are no questions.
Hello?
Right.
Hello,
Yes,
good evening.
Alex.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening. Please go ahead with your question.
Will the recording be posted on the WhatsApp platform?
Yes, but we are currently streaming live. So we also have it on our YouTube channel. You can go there and then you
Okay,
can have
okay.
a copy of the recording. We have,
Thank you
say,
very much.
the previous, yes, thank you, Tim. We have the previous recording also there on our YouTube channel.
Okay, okay.
Right. The link has
Thank
been
you very
put.
much.
Yes, the link.
Okay.
Dennis, if you can share the link to our YouTube channel in the chat box as well. Martin said you can also access to that. Please, any other questions, contributions for our resource persons?
Please, I have a question.
Go ahead, Portia.
All right, thank you very much for the presentation. It was very insightful. But my question is there this particular site that we can get data on Ghana, aside from the political regions and districts, data such as flood, data such as rivers? Is there a data source like that, a place we can get all these data, especially anthropogenic ones like human induced, like there are roads, gutters, and all that? I've been trying to find such data, and then I find it difficult to get them. Is there something like that? Is there an institution in charge of that where I can get such data, GIS data from? Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Portia. John, can you attempt answering? I could add one or two. Hello, John. Can you hear me? Okay. Hello, John. You are muted. If you are speaking, we can't hear you. Okay, so let me attempt answering your question. John would add up once he unmutes. So during his presentation, he made mention some of the sources on one of his slides where he touched on sources such as some of them. I might say that, for instance, the NSDI sources. I'm not sure where we can get that, but if you go to some open portals like the Ghana Geo portal, AfriGeo portal, these sources, there are other portals like Diva GIS where you can have some general data set. All right, there are other OSMs, that is open OMS, open mapping platforms. So where you have street level data as well. But if you want specific data set, like data on flats, data on drainage systems, data, you mentioned anthropogenic data, right?
Yes.
If you want such data set, then you need to contact some agencies. Here in Ghana, I know you can look at the geological services. They are now an authority. Can write them or go to the office and make inquiries. Ghana Statistical Service is one. They have a portal where you can also get some demographic data, all right, and then some other thematic data set, so you can write to them. But generally, there are a lot of
Hello?
portals. Yes, please.
Sorry, I think my distance was there. But I think, okay, you finish your statement, then
Yes.
possibly
Generally, there are a lot of portals, websites, and repositories where you can get some data sources. One of such repositories are the MIT repository, where you can have a lot of data source on education. We can also have data on Africa or Ghana, the Ghana Geo portal, where you have a lot of data tailored to Ghana, right? Tailor-made data, but a lot of such data, some of them may not be authoritative. When you say data is authoritative, meaning that whatever information you have in there has not been authorized by the creator of the data or the agency that put the data there. So its usage also you need to be very careful, especially when you are using it for projects or you are using it for any work that requires that your data ought to be authorized or to be authoritative. All right. Some of them don't even have metadata. So you also need to be very careful because these data sets are free. If you want specific, just like I said, tailor-made institutional data, then you need to go to these agencies we have in Ghana, like the Ghana Statistical Service, the Geological Services Authority, and all that. John, if there are any you would want to add. Portia,
I'm here.
yes, I hope. Our challenge is where to
Yeah,
get the data and then the data source. Ghana, the data
Exactly.
source, the data sources are our main challenge as geospatial or yes, geospatialists or geospatial, and engineers.
yeah. I
Okay.
think
There are a lot of data sources in the system.
yeah, Richmond. I think what we need to like what is coming up. We need to maybe as part of our website, we can just put something that lead to some of these things so that our members can easily find access to some of these data and use for their
Our
projects.
projects.
Yeah.
Right.
That would be
That is
good.
one. That's
I'll
one.
also drop some of the links into the chats. But like Richmond said earlier, MIT also has some data that you can leverage on. Google also have, I think those portals are there, but you can get so specific. Google has most of these data in there that you can just go there and then you can just grab them. Most of them are for free. Some few
Yes.
ones are proprietary, so you can just get them as well. So I have some few links. I'll put them in the chat for now. And possibly maybe in future we can just send it to our chair, then he can share with the team as well as.
Okay. Thank you. Yes. So just like I I was saying, the challenge is getting data in Ghana, the right kind of data, and as to whether the data is even authoritative. That has been our challenge. So I understand there is an ongoing discussion for NSDI, that is National Data Infrastructure, where there is a policy document that stipulates the kind of data, the type of data, which agencies are creators of this data set in terms of the meta information and all that. So I'm sure once that comes up strongly and it is made public, we'll have associated portals, right, for these agencies that create these data set, and we'll have all the convenience and navigate our way around the data. So the issue has been with data. There are a lot we can do, but data. Government also needs to do a lot more on policy and the data acquisition, right? I think in my previous presentation, I did mention, somebody mentioned or asked a question whether we have a granular data for, let's say, towns or communities. These data sets do not exist, but as geospatial engineers or specialists, we need these data sets forming the basis or the fundamental for most of our mapping and visualization. So a lot of agencies, international agencies or the international community come in, collect data for their project. And most of the time, we don't even have copies left behind for stakeholders to use. They carry the data away. So we need a lot of policy that governs these data creation and data dissemination as well, right? So just like John said, we will share a lot of the portals, and then most importantly, we did mention that the association should look at maybe getting a portal on our main website where we should direct some of these visitors on our website to some of these platforms or data repositories so that we can use them. Right. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I
Yes,
think
to add up
my
to it,
question has duly been answered because I have been searching for data, especially on communities and towns, and it's been very challenging. So at least I wouldn't have to search myself anymore now that I know that they don't even exist. And then I really hope and wish that things upgrade very soon from here, looking at the way
Right.
things are going. Thank you
if you
very
are
much.
looking for communities and other things, can you speak with Lands Commission and see whether they can assist you on that?
Yes, I was coming to that as well.
Yeah,
So
Lands
Land
Commission
Land
Commission can help.
Commission.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go to Lands Commission and speak with them. I think they can help you with that.
Okay. Okay. All
There,
right. Thank
there
you.
are also some open data, but these are point data for towns and then some communities. These are points. If you want to look at the polygons, I think you can speak to Land Commission and them.
I think Lands Commission can help.
All
And I
right.
also know that
Mhm.
LUSPA is also currently under construction, putting their software together, where they are organizing all the data across the country on a single platform. So I'm sure next year going, some of these data to also be available on LUSPA's system that they can also share with us.
The name again, please.
LUSPA, Land Use
Land Use and Spatial
Spatial
Planning.
Planning Authority.
Oh, okay. All right, sure.
Okay, right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please, any other questions, contributions from the audience? Good. I think with that said, we can wrap up. I want to step in the shoes of the moderators. Our moderators are having challenges. We are still looking at the GIS basic series. In our next series, we'll be handling the GIS softwares and tools. And for this particular series, we'll be having some hands-on. We'll be using these software. We'll be looking at the two main software, which is ArcGIS Pro and then the QGIS. A lot of us use these two type of software. That is why we have narrowed down to these two. We'll be looking at some topics such as creating geodatabases, and then also using some tools such as the ETL tools, the exports, transfer, and then the load, where you bring in data and then also export data. Here we are looking at these data types, the vector data types, especially, and then the raster data types. We'll also be looking at layers, and then looking at domains, and then ultimately look at how to create a simple map or how to visualize a simple map, right? We see a lot of maps, either digital maps or hard copy maps. A lot of us are unsure how these different data sets we see on the map come together and how they organize. So we're looking at that in our next series. We hope to see all of you, and then we hope to have it much, much more interactive in our next session, right? Thank you very much. Over to John, if any concluding remarks on the side.
Okay, thank you all for coming. And I think what we're going to do is that this is the basis. That's the basis. So what we are going to do is going forward, I think we'll go practical forms, and then we show you some of the complex applications that we design. But I think the basis has to be solid before we can build on that. So we will expect all of you to come in, and then we can be able to build up together.
All right. Thank you for your time, and then thank you for being part of today's CPD, and enjoy the rest of the day, and then the weekend. Bye-bye.